There we go. All right, what the heck were we doing here? Oh, right, I remember now. We were moving some of the logic around. We were moving some of the logic around. Hmm. Uh, we were touching up some bugs. And we're going to clean up a little bit more architecture things. That works. New task. That worked. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. I think this button's going away, so I might not fix it. But maybe I should, just in case. And this button, chill. 2, 1, stop. And then next is 13. Beautiful. Communication works just great. What was missing here? And then, right. Yeah. Okay. Because that's not communicating back to the controller. So two things. One is I think we're going to remove this change mode because it's like UI logic. It's specific to the UI. So that shouldn't be in our controller. We should have a function like update display or something, and it should just know what to do. So let me go here now to today's things, and let's put in here remove change mode, and then bug. What was the bug? Switch task. We can fix that too if it's quick. If it's quick and easy. So let's work on removing change mode here. Let's take a quick look at our status to see what's different. Oh, okay. I'm going to commit this for now. Main window, move business. We'll say, yes, move business logic to logic class. Oh, that's supposed to be in there too. Okay. Excellent. So now I just have like a checkpoint that things are kind of working. Actually, probably what I should do first, rather than get rid of change mode, is the switch task bug. Let's take a quick look at that. And that'll be from the quick mode view. From the quick mode view, what do we have? From the quick mode view, yeah, there's a switch task button. Switch task right here. Right. Is okay and not new task name is empty. Set task name. Yeah. It just changes the text on the label, which does not help us. So what we actually need in here for this to work is we need our logic class passed through. Here's where things get tricky because now we're going to be sharing that logic class. Oh yeah, no, add the include. Right. Oh, my bad. It's the opposite of what I wanted. The heck? Oh, there it is. Oh, it made a private instructor. That's funny. No, we're just going to go like this. And go like that. And then the problem becomes that we're not declaring it here. Move to default. Move to default member initializer? No. Oh, right. That's what we need to do here. And then... Alright, there's no field to hold on to it. Right. Now I can just go here and say, well, actually, I think it would probably come first. I just the way I just put it in there. Oh my gosh, so sneezy. Right? And then here. Also, where does this update its stuff? How does this view even update? There's no timer in here. I think that comes from the parent. Quick mode view. Another way to do this would be to make my my task list like a singleton. And then let me just access the class from here. But then this would need its own controller. So I don't know. Doesn't really solve the problem. But it's like a partial solution. But if we made that a singleton, we would make it not strictly a singleton. We would just have like a singleton instance. We would have it would be both. It would be instantiable and a singleton. So we would have a global instance, but it would also be instantiable. I think would be the best way to do it. That way we could potentially have more than one that we're looking at and working with. Because generally speaking, for most things, you don't want to limit yourself to just having one instance. Set task name. This should go to logic. Set task. It doesn't really work exactly, but that might help. And now this should create some compiler errors. Let's see where this fails, and we'll fill in the blanks. Probably in main view, if I had to guess. Oh god, I gotta use the bathroom. I will be right back. Oh my days, I'm back. Let's resume. Okay, we're fixing the switch task bug. Squeeze me. Did my app just crash? What happened there? Whoa. How did this just go from working to not working? Segmentation fault. Oh! LOL. So wait a minute. I know why, but my question is how? I know why there's a seg fault. There's a seg fault because we're doing something with logic, and logic's a null pointer. Oh. Oh, I'm dumb. Do I have to? Ah. That was my mistake. I didn't use my brain. I just copied the pattern that was there without thinking, which we do sometimes. It's not implemented. That's right, because I changed them so that this one's the optional parameter. The parent is optional. The logic is required. Now, when I compile this, it won't compile. Before it was defaulting it to a null pointer, and it was like, yeah, we're good. We got a null pointer. We're good. Here's what I wanted. New quick mode view, which means that here we can't do what I did before. Also, I don't know if I can do any of this anyway. Because if I use this, then parent is null, right? Exactly. And I don't think that's what we want. These need to be parented. So I think all of these need to come down. I need to take all of these out of here. Default member initializer. I don't think that's what we want either. We want these down here, basically. I'm like 90% positive we want these here because these all need to be parented. Otherwise, we run into issues. So I set my logic, and then I'm going to set up my views. Huh? Quick mode view. Oh, yes. That's why we brought it down. Ah, yes. That's why we can't do this now. Hold on. So we're going to do this one and this change. Because now some of our views will depend on the logic. So I want to make sure logic is declared first. These do need to come out, but to keep this code change clean, we're not going to do it in this one. Basically, to explain what I'm thinking out loud, we would either have had to move all of these down here first and convert them like this to just have this, or what I'm doing now. And the reason for that is because this one has a new parameter here. So this won't compile if I make the other change. Although, what I could do that. Hold on, I have an idea. So what I could do to make this happen quicker, in a sense, not quicker, but earlier in the Git history, we can go like this, and then I can temporarily do this. So now the code will 100% compile. Oh, no, it won't, because the order is different. You know what? I can still do it. So here's what I'm saying. I could still go in here, not commit these changes, and go to my main window and move this crap down here. And just go adopt unparented views, orphaned views, adopt, parent, orphaned views. Is that how you spell orphaned? That is how you spell orphan. Okay. Fix parent orphaned views and parent orphaned sub widgets, sub views. I'll call them sub views. To maintain queue object hierarchy for memory cleanup. We're not gonna compile that. We're just gonna kind of hope that works. Which is a little bit risky, so I probably should have done the opposite. Oh, I know that doesn't work now because there's a comma here. Whoops. Okay, so don't do this. What I'm doing right now is incredibly dangerous. Do not do this. Do not try this at home, folks. But that's okay. Okay, then I'm gonna go here. This is no longer optional. I'm gonna go logic and this. Okay. Right. And now it should not only build, but it shouldn't crash. And now let's see if our task name updates. Interesting. Why didn't that work? Let's go into here. Why is control O? Oh, I get you. I got you. What's the button? Oh. Control I and control O. That's fair. But how would I normally open? Oh, control N is classes. View. I want to go to the implementation. Toggle. There's a button for it, but I don't know what it is. But whatever. right? I thought that if I set task in here, it would update, but maybe that's not how this works. Let's go to my logic. Let's look for emit, update display, timer ticked, task.name. So this is what should be making it happen. Right? So let's run it again. Okay. So this is working, but the UI is not updating. So that's good to know. That means that there's a connection broken somewhere. That means that oh, this isn't getting called at all. Look, it always says new task name. Ah, I think I figured out why. I think I figured out why. Okay. I had a misunderstanding with the way this works. Set task name is not supposed to do this. It's supposed to do what I had. Oops. Which is this. It's supposed to set the label. But where is this being called from? Switch task. This needs to do both. This isn't, yeah, this is just literally updating the display. Now that should work. Now, of course, things are still a little bit disconnected here. There we go. Right, things are still a little bit disconnected here. This isn't bringing us back. Number one, it's not persisting when we come back. Right? When I come back here, it's not there. So we need to do something about that. Probably what needs to happen is my logic. Sorry, over here we go set task. This happens, but we don't emit update display. Which actually shouldn't matter, right? It actually shouldn't matter. So I guess part of what needs to happen is in main. When we do update display here, view set task name, view this, we also need to set task name on our current view. So let's go get my main window stub. And let's take a look at, oh, okay, edit. So we got to go into edit mode. Edit mode, that's a signal, set task name. So edit, set task name. Oops. Can you? There we go. And that'll probably persist it. Basically, the model's right. We just have to update the UI. Testing. New task. And then if I stop, oh, there it is, new task. But that new task doesn't appear in my intake list, which is probably fine. I think it's okay to leave them a little bit decoupled because I think that the idea of the task list is that the task list should be opt-in. You don't need to use it. And when you pop this open, you can just hit enter and add it anyways, right? And very easily, you know, add, switch, remove, etc. So that makes it so that you can use it if you want, but you don't have to use it. It's optional. Okay, that's very cool. I think that fixes the task switching bug. Whether or not we're going to have that or not. Because I think the idea of the Pomodoro is that you're supposed to stop the timer and start a new one. So that's fine. So let's go here and take a look at what we changed. Now we're piping the parent through. I don't know if this is a problem. I don't think this is a problem. Because this holds a reference to logic. But so does my main window. The other part of the equation is... no, actually, I think I like this. So the way I've done this in the past at other companies is we usually make the logic file the root, and then the logic file drives all the logic, right? So it would be a controller, right? And then the controller would own a view. In this case, my views are owning controllers. So the views are kind of in the driver's seat. But thinking out loud, I think it has to be that way. Well, I was saying it has to be that way. I was thinking it has to be that way because otherwise they'll be tightly coupled, but that's not true. I could make an interface, more or less, like a fully, I forget what the C++ nomenclature is, like a fully virtual class, abstract class or something, but basically an interface to communicate to the view with. And then the controller would be able to drive. But I'm okay with this for now because this is just simple, right? I'm okay with things being simple for now. We could add this to debug statement. I don't know. And we're done in time for our timer. Beautiful. Good warm-up exercise for today. So what was the next thing I wanted to work on? Switch task is done. Oh, remove change mode. Yeah, we should remove change mode because it has nothing to do. That's view logic. The view should decide when to change the mode, and the logic should be pure pure logic based. So we're gonna delete this change mode, and we're gonna go into here, and every time we emit change mode, we're gonna have to figure out what to do. Yeah, I think this is why I put it in, because I was like, well, update display. But I think, yeah, what I need here is a void start Pomodoro is what we need. And then this would emit start. And then this other, oh God, that really hurts. I screwed up my wrist pretty badly here somehow. Let me get a band-aid real quick. I haven't started the next timer actually, which I was supposed to do. But hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's start this timer. This might be enough. Start Pomodoro. We might need to pass more information. I don't know, but that's probably good enough for now. And change mode to edit. Timer stopped. Timer stop means the Pomodoro is ended. So I think this should just emit and Pomodoro. And then that's that. Change mode. Oh, that's fair. Oh, that's funny. Right, because this goes away now too. So what do we have instead? What I need to connect here instead is start Pomodoro. And then for start, we're not having, there's no more mode change. We just go straight to view. Which means the only thing we need in here now is view capture. Remove unused, remove unused. This function becomes way simpler. That's not needed anymore. And then Pomodoro ended. Oh, no. Okay, yes. I got it. Pomodoro ended does need an extra parameter. It needs to know whether or not... It could be a different signal. It could be a different signal. It doesn't have to be the same signal. In fact, I think I'd rather have it be a different signal. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to make cancel Pomodoro. Because how should this work? Stop is stop. No, 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 no. No, this will still be end. This will still be end. This will still be end. It will work differently, but it will still be end. Because now it'll go to completed. So what that basically what I mean is in here, when we hit in view mode, WebStorm IDE, not quite WebStorm. What's up, MC? Naveen. What's up, Naveen? This is it is IntelliJ, but it's not WebStorm. This is C-Line. I miss i3WM. I only started using Linux as a desktop again recently. Where's my stop button? Hello? Switch task, stop button, stop timer. Whoa, did I accidentally delete it? How come I don't see it in here? Quick mode view, stop timer. I deleted it, but I don't see where I deleted it. The heck? Am I in the wrong file? This is the view file. Oh, yeah. The heck? I was looking at the function a minute ago. I literally don't know where it went. I was a Linux user for close to 10 years, recently switched to Mac. That's fair. That's a fair switch. I love Linux. I've always loved Linux. Not always, but like I've been using it for almost 20 years, but like 10 years at least, 15 years, but not as a desktop. I used it as a desktop maybe for about 1 year before I switched to Mac, because I cannot stop tweaking and breaking things. Exactly. Exactly. It took me like a solid week or 2 weeks maybe to get this environment working, and it still breaks on me randomly, and it's like, ah. But I was streaming my Mac laptop, and it was just, it's so much effort to set up, because this is like my gaming PC desk. So this setup is very weird. I'm sharing the same mouse and keyboard and monitors between my game PC, this other PC laptop that I'm running Linux on, which is my stream PC. And then I had like another capture card. So I have like a 2 capture card setup. So like one, my Mac would be plugged into the capture card, which is in, my PC. and then my PC's outputting to my other PC. It's like such a pain in the neck. So I wanted to be able to write code without having to make space on my desk for my laptop and then have no space to like use my mouse and stuff. It's just, this way is a little bit more comfortable. What's the config? What do you mean config? Like my computer setup or my Linux setup? Where the hell did this function go? I'm so mad. Wait, maybe it was in here. Pomodoro ended. I was positive I had a function for this somewhere. Oh, timer stopped. Oh, in here. In here. In here. So I already did the thing. I already did the thing I was supposed to do. Timer stopped. This is where before I was emitting a signal to change the... Okay. So I think that's all I need to do. I think that's all I need to do. Right, and now when I stop it, it goes to completed. Nice. But the count isn't going up. The gaming one. Oh, the hardware? The gaming PC is pretty good. It's a few years old at this point. It's a Core i9. Core i9, 64 gigs RAM, RTX 3090. It's a beefy machine. I mean, again, it's a few years old, but it's still pretty good. The count's not increasing, but that's fine. The count's not increasing for a different reason. But hey, look, we removed that other signal and we replaced it with this. I don't think starting needs anything. We might, in start Pomodoro, we might pass the count. Right? That might be something we pass. Is the count. But that's fine. But this is done now. We removed this signal that was a little bit fishy. It was kind of like UI logic in the controller. That's cool. Thanks. Yeah, I play games on that one. And then my other PC I was using to stream, and I was like streaming from Windows for a while because the video drivers are just better and you can do more. Like there's more options. I moved to a laptop and external monitor. Works for me. It's honestly the best. It is honestly the best. It is the simplest setup you could possibly have, and it is the best. I've like after going through all these different configurations and things that I've had, a lot of times I'm like, if I ever need to downsize, I'll have a laptop. It's tough because I like to play games, so like the gaming rig is a little bit necessary. But for work stuff, laptop, monitor, easy. And then I need to figure out how my gaming stuff would work, because gaming stuff and work stuff, I want different monitors. But maybe if I really needed to downsize, maybe as a compromise, I would get a single like 1440p high refresh rate monitor and like a 27-inch and just a single one. And then I could use the same monitor for my game PC and my laptop. And then my laptop would be maybe mounted on the side of my desk. So that's not, I don't have to fiddle with stuff. I would need to have it like someplace where, you know, I can just leave it set up. Maybe just plug one cable in occasionally to like a docking solution and just call it a day. That would probably be my minimal. But my other computer, I have the studio displays, the cheaper ones. They're amazing. They just the text looks so good. It really looks amazing. But I don't think I'd be able to use that with Windows very well. You can, but it's just not a great experience from what I've heard. Okay, so maybe we'll have to pass the count through, because right now there's nothing going on with this count here. The count's never updating. I don't even think we use this anywhere. But that's fine. I think we got what we wanted from this code change. Logic in main window. Remove view specific. Change mode signal in favor of logic driven. Yeah. Cool. Now, now the next thing I need to do, so this is done. Next thing I need to do, let's move that over here. So we have change mode gone. Oops. Next thing we need to do is add Pomodoro count, and then add Pomodoro count logic, like break versus work. Let's go here. So that sets that task. Boom. Very cool. Oh, I should actually check my messages here. When I hit stopped, timer stopped. Oh. Oh, timer stopped. Okay. Okay. Actually, what I need to do. Where the heck is the signal even set up? What? Where does this signal get connected? This slot, I mean, where does this slot get connected? Probably in main window. There's a code smell here. I didn't fully clean a lot of this architecture as I was changing things around. Timer stopped is right here. Quick mode view, stop timer. It shouldn't hook up to timer stopped. It should hook up to. Oh, it has to move to timer stopped because Pomodoro started. Pomodoro stopped. Oh no. There is no Pomodoro stopped. Hold on, let's go into logic. Started, ended. Who calls this? We call this manually from inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the slot and it doesn't take any parameters, so it'll be compatible. Timer stop. That's the only change that needs to happen, I think. And this is already emitting in Pomodoro. The only difference is now it'll play a sound and it will add the duration. So this is what we want. So we want to wire that up to the end. Oh, sorry. That comes out of private. I think I missed something. So let's try to build it and see what I missed. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I didn't miss anything, or we'll get a segmentation fault because I did miss something. Oh, and my count went up. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Look at that. So the question here is, okay, so we're going to add this logic in that every 4, we're going to take a break. But the question is, do we take a break? If we end these early, do we still take a break? Right? Because right now, what I'm doing is when I end early, I'm going to the finished flow. So let's take a look at what some other people are doing. Like there's this one, Pomo Focus. That's fine. That's fine. Oh. So these guys don't let you stop. They only let you pause. Wait, hold on. But you can skip. Oh, and it immediately skips you to a break. And 5 minutes. And then this is number 4. And it automatically goes to a long break. Okay, so that's how they do it. That's literally how they do it. So I guess that's fine. And that's a pretty simple UI too. It's pretty simple to understand. So there is no task switch, right? Which I think is what I'm going to work towards anyways. Where I think on desktop 4, no, 5? Nope. Oh yeah, it is over here. So this is the UI I'm going to switch to. But I think before I switch to this UI, we're going to add our break logic maybe. So this is good. 4 completed. Whoa, 6 completed. 8 completed. Why are we doubling? 10 completed. Was it doing that the whole time and I just didn't notice? 1, 3. Yes. Okay, probably because ended is being triggered more than once somehow. Because end Pomodoro and stop timer are being wired to the same signal. So it's getting fired twice. Oh, Pomodoro ended. Here's the problem. What do I do? So the problem is that when the timer stops, I'm ending the Pomodoro. But then when the Pomodoro ending emits, we're going to the same method again. No, This is on the main view. Pomodoro logic ended. I'm gonna put these next to each other. Just for now. So that triggers this. Okay. The stop timer button triggers Pomodoro logics. Pomodoro ended. No, this is fine. But I think there is a loop here somewhere where this is happening twice. I just got to recompile because I moved those lines. Oh, that one went straight to number 2. Look at that. Pomodoro ended. Yeah, it is getting called twice. So the question is, why is this being called twice? Because timer... What? It's only being called from timer ticked. This is just the signal to say, hey, we did end. But why is it getting called twice? This button should do nothing now, which it does. How does one button click? Right, so this is fine. This is perfectly fine. How is one button click causing 2 interactions? This is on quick mode view. Did I do something by mistake in here? Where stop button pressed is doing stop timer. Quick mode view. Stop timer. I don't know that this signal exists, dude. Or it does someplace. Maybe there's some stale code here. Quick mode view. Oh. This is fine. This is fine. There is no code for this. This is just saying emit this signal. That's why this was confusing me. I didn't realize this is a signal. Emit stop timer when button is pressed. And then in main window, hey, when stop timer is emitted, call this function. this N Pomodoro is wired up to this, which only updates the UI, unless this is emitting a signal, which it doesn't appear to be. This is just UI updating. And then this just changes the widget, so this shouldn't be an issue either. But I guess if we want to be safe and test things out, we can get rid of this one for a hot second and see how many times that logic logic function fires. It fires exactly one time. Duration negative 879. That obviously needs to be fixed. Oh, this also only fires once. I think I know what's happening. No. No. Hmm. 2, 3, 4. The heck? 5. The heck? 6. What did I change? It's working now. I don't know what I changed, dude. I don't think I changed anything. I don't think I changed anything. But hey, whatever, it's working. Trigger Pomodoro ended when stopping early. To reduce code and I want to say to clean up the workflow. Reduce code and force consistent workflow. Yeah. Consistent workflow? Consistent, yeah, workflow, I guess. Right. Okay. So that works. So now we're counting Pomodoros. Lovely. So now, completely from my logic file, I should be able to add more logic. Pomodoro started. Start time equals this. Task name, Pomodoro count. Does it get used anywhere? This isn't even used anywhere, by the way. This is not being used anywhere. I think that's supposed to be as a parameter to this. Let's check real quick. I'm pretty sure it's not being used. I'm pretty sure if I go here and I'm like, hey, use that. I'm surprised that that didn't come up as being unused. It can be made const. It can. Oh, but this is putting it back here. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to delete that line. I'm just going to delete that line. Clean up the code. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a commit right there. Logic, cleanup, unused variable. If we want the Pomodoro, whoops, if we want the Pomodoro count in there for some reason, I'll just put it in a separate parameter to my update display signal, and I'll put it, doesn't have to be a separate label, but it'll be a separate, you know, argument here that the view can do whatever the heck it wants with it. If the view wants to have a separate like label for it, that's fine. It can have a separate label for it. If the view wants to do the concatenation, it will. So I think for now, I'll put presentation logic in with the view. Any transformations? No, that's actually not true. That's why I was doing it in here. And that's why I'm doing like time formatting here. But I think that can go on the view side specifically. That's like not, that's not transformation logic. That's saying, hey, where do you want to show the number? And the view is deciding, well, I'm going to show the number over here. There is some string manipulation, but that's still view logic. So that can go on the other side. I can justify that. It's gray. It's a gray area, but I can justify that. Okay, so now what we need to do, Pomodoro started. How does this happen? This is a slot because it ends in ED. And who's calling this? Here. This happens in main window. When we press start timer, that's when this happens. So when Pomodoro ended, end Pomodoro, Pomodoro count. Oh, right now there is no, yes, right now there is no logic. Because what's happening right now is it's only doing everything as a work task, right? This is always going to be 13 minutes every time you come back here. 13 minutes, 13 minutes. There is no break. Oh, wait, because when I hit chill, that's when it happens. Right. So we're not enforcing breaks. People are like opting into it. Hey, hold on. Oops, press the wrong button. Hold on a sec. Did what I think happened just happen? No. Okay, I thought it played the beeping twice. So what we need to do in here, Pomodoro ended. So what's happening is that our completed view is driving this decision, which it should not, in a way. Completed. I actually don't know how this is working. It might be coming from main window. Pomodoro completed. Going, blah, 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 blah. Oh wow, there's actually no logic in there. So this is probably all happening in main window. And what's happening is we're saying we're wiring up the completed view somewhere. Quick mode completed. Yeah, we're doing logic in here. This logic needs to come out. We're doing set time directly on the view. And that's why this is happening. What we need to do instead is we need to make a function on the logic side. And the logic side has to say start break. And then the logic side says how to start a break. Because right now, take a break and keep going. These are directly working on the view, so the functionality is right. The functionality is right, but the separation of concerns is not what we had intended. It's just like an artifact left over from me not fully cleaning up this class. So in order to do what I want to do, this needs to be cleaned up first. So I have to go to my logic file and decide what the API for this is gonna be. So slots over here should be a slot or just a function. I think it maybe should just be a function. Or maybe it should be a slot. Technically, it should be a slot, and it should be something like start break clicked. And the other one should be right. The main window. How does start even work? Let's look at the start button. Pause timer goes to timer paused. Start Pomodoro. Yeah, that just exists to change the view. Start timer goes to Pomodoro logic started. Okay, so that goes to a slot, which means I'm looking to make another slot here. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that these are the same length. Okay. So I can do it one of two ways. I can do it one of two ways. Start break pressed or start break pressed or start next pressed or next, and then it will have an option like an enum. I'll be right back. I'm going to think about this. I use the bathroom. We also haven't taken any breaks yet, so it's going to be my first break here. And we're going to play ad break on Twitch while I'm AFK. You guys aren't missing anything, I promise. And I'll be right back. All right. So that happened. Stomach being weird today. So we were talking about how to handle these clicks coming from this screen, which I coincidentally have open over here. Well, we're not. We'll just open another one. All right, how do we handle the clicks? And this might be a problem because I haven't implemented this. Although I don't know that slots have to be implemented. Yeah, they do. Okay, it's just regular function definition. Right. So like how do we get input into our logic? And I think, right? I think maybe the mistake that I made here, right? So how do we get really any of these buttons going back to the UI? So here I hooked this up to Pomodoro N, but that's like a logic thing, right? If we wanted to be like pure separation of concerns, this would be stop pressed, switch task pressed, right? But then that kind of tightly couples our logic to our view. So the question is, how do I wire up these buttons? Take a break, start next. Right. And the thing is, I don't want to go like this could have its own controller that could kind of translate these specifically. I mean, maybe that can just go in the view, but then that would be business logic. We need to say, hey, also, wait, hold on. What was it? Add Pomodoro count. That's actually done. So we can scratch that off. That's actually been done. Now we're talking about breaking versus working, which is fantastic. We're chugging along. So the question is, how do we get this back to our logic? Like start next or chill. And I think that also brings us to this conundrum. What is this even going to look like? Take a break, take a break. I love that. So it's over here. I need more time or finish. I think that's what I decided to go with, right? Yeah, that's what I decided to go with. And then finish would close it out. So I have two choices here. I can right now, let me just see how my old code works. I think my old code handles this. Oh, I have to wait. I see. We're not doing that. Okay, well, whatever. My old code, oh, so right. The code that's in there actually was doing it. Did I just delete that? It was doing it from the UI, right? And now we're talking about how to just wire those events backwards. And get that logic firing up. Part of the problem here, part of the problem with this API here is that the view is telling us what the time is. And that's because the view does set the time. Because our times are customizable, which is why this gets a little bit hairy. We're not strictly doing just 25-minute intervals. So this is where things get a little bit confusing. We get the time from the UI, but we also want to set the time from our logic. We want to set a suggested time. Oh, that's a good word for it. Set suggested time. So we can have a signal, suggest time, The start Pomodoro starts it, right? So this kind of, this stuff that happens in end Pomodoro, when we emit end in our Pomodoro ended, this is where we would suggest the next one, right? So we'll have a signal called like suggest time slice. And then when we suggest, that will set the time on the UI. But right now, we're setting the time in here, which is not good. Right? Timer options, which really should come from our logic. Keep going. Yeah, it's a little bit weird because, yeah, we want our logic to drive, but this is also doing UI stuff. So if we want our logic to drive, we need to create like 2 more functions. So this function would go here, and then it would come back to here, and then when it comes back to here, it would fire this. It would fire both of these. So actually this stays. This stays, but instead of wiring this to the button, oh wait, keep going. Is not really a button click. So keep going. So this is kind of right. Really, technically, this keep going should be wired to here, and then this should come back to here. So maybe for now we could have keep going pressed, or start break pressed, and start next pressed. That would look like this on this side. How goes it today? What's up, Judo? It goes. Kind of getting stuck here on decisions, which happens sometimes. I think the right thing to do is to pipe the input directly to the logic, and then have the logic drive back and do this kind of communication where they kind of go here, now go here, come back, right? It's a little bit silly. I think that's the way it should work. Just to work fighting with stupid analytics things. Oh, okay. That's always fun. So I keep going, should go to something else. But this closure we're gonna want right, so then over here we're gonna have a signal. And the signal is gonna be void suggest time. Oh wait. And set time. So the way this works is weird from what I remember. Yes. Convert Queue time to proper slider tick value is interval. So really, it shouldn't be suggest time. It should be suggest time interval. Time in minutes. I don't think I need to do this though. For an int, let's ask. That's an AI question. Use int for parameters and return values of small, trivial, copyable types. It's clearer, safer, and typically faster or equal in performance. Unless you have a very specific reason. That's what I thought. Copying int is effectively free. That's what I thought. Fits in the register and optimizer handles it well. Passing const reference adds an extra level of indirection, which can be slower and complicates calling conventions. For Qt signals, by value is preferred for fundamental types. Qt connections must copy arguments anyway, and references provide no benefit. Okay. Don't return const by value. Runs useful moves assignments and doesn't add safety. Extremely rare ABI or overloading edge cases. Okay, so that answers that easy question. I was kind of feeling the same way, like why? Suggest time interval. And this is where our logic is going to come into play. Right? Here we're going to have some logic that says like if Pomodoro count mod 4 is equal to 0. Well, no, we're not going to use an if statement because that would be silly. We're just going to say emit suggest time interval. And then this is going to be Pomodoro count mod 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where these wacky ass numbers come from, but this is gonna be timer settings, which I don't have in here. I don't have that in this class. Crazy timer options. There it is. Timer options dot break minutes. Oh, that's actually not going to happen in Pomodoro ended. I lied. That's going to happen in one of these. In break pressed, that's going to happen. This is the code for break pressed that I'm writing right now. Let's implement this. And this comes here. I'm hard coding 15 because I don't have an option for it right now. Sorry, there's no semicolon inside parentheses. So that is what it is, but that's fine. And then next pressed. Sorry. Exactly. So that's going to handle that. And then what's going to happen here? Okay, now things are coming together. What's going to happen here is we're going to connect suggest time interval. That's going to come from logic. We're going to connect logics. Suggest time interval is going to connect to this. And we're going to, yeah, that's right. And what's going to happen in here is we're going to do layout capture, set widget edit, and then set time. Ah, now it's starting to become more beautiful. This isn't perfect yet because I'm not going to fix this API, this set time API. I'm not going to fix this yet, but it will happen. It's been many moons since I've touched C++. Yeah, this is for me too, but I'm actually having a blast. I'm having so much fun with this. We can remove this. This is actually going to be totally different. This is going to go to not this. This is going to go to logics start. Sorry. Not start, but it's going to go to start break pressed. And then take a break instead of doing what this was doing. I'm going to say logic. Yep. Wait, hold on. Did I do that right? Oh. Wait. No, I did that backwards. Sorry. Keep going. Start next. Take a break. Start break. There we go. That wasn't as messy as I had thought it would be. This is wiring up the buttons to these two functions, and this is emitting a signal back here, telling it to update the UI. And now my logic file has control over the logic, which was the whole reason we created this class. Sometimes you just have to do something and see what it looks like to figure out if it's messy or not. But you also have to be careful it doesn't take you too long to get to that point. So we've got one. We've got, right? Oh, God. I don't know why this is happening. That's a crazy goal. Have logic to file a handle logic, right? This is a bug. I don't know why this happens. Oh, no, wait. 4, 6. Wait, hold on. 8, 10. I don't know why this happens. I need to figure this out. 15. Sometimes it increments by 1. Sometimes it increments by 2. I need to figure out why that's happening. Chill. Now, chill should always be... Ah, I see why that's happening. Because it's telling me count is 18. What's 18? Am I crazy? $18 divided by 4 is 4.5. What? Yes, you are crazy. If count mod 4 is 0. Oh. Yeah, I am crazy because I wrote the wrong code. Not crazy for the reason I thought I was, or crazy for a different reason. Long break. That means long break. Okay. Called it. Called it. Okay, so now we go here. We stop. 1, chill should be 3. 2, chill should be 3. 4, chill should be 15. Nice. 5. I also don't know why sometimes this thing counts. I wasn't paying attention to the count. Sometimes it goes up by 2. Like it's doing right now. I need to figure out why. That is a bug that I need to fix. But this is okay. This code change is fine. What the hell? Oh. Cleanup. Move Pomodoro logic to logic class. I need to figure out, whoops, open that up again. I need to figure out why this is getting called twice because I still can't figure this out. Maybe I just set a breakpoint on here. But I know I'm going to look at the stack trace and I'm going to be like, what? Because it's probably some weird signal thing. It might be a memory thing. Right. It doesn't even show you where this comes from. And I don't think I'm going to be able to trace this. I don't think I'm going to be able to trace this like this. Okay. And then when we're in here, that gets fired once. I'm wondering if the issue... No, the timer stopped. I have this debug thing in here that I can just switch between any of these views at any time so I can see what's going on. I just remembered I did that. Because I had this other suspicion that maybe what was happening was when I finished a task, the timer was still going. Chill. It's only called once. Now it's being called twice. Why is it being called twice? You see that? That's what I need to figure out. Why does this get called twice? Go ahead, AI, make my day. It is kind of convenient that it has context about your project and it can actually, I think this assistant can actually look at the code in your project in your files and kind of figure out some things. Like it has a bit more context. This kind of sometimes twice symptom almost always comes from one of these causes. Duplicate connections, that's what I thought. The same signal slot pair is connected more than once. So one emission evokes the slot multiple times. Multiple paths to the same slot. Different signals are code paths, which is what I also thought. Natural timer completion and explicit stop action, both call it. That's what I thought. Race condition, a user action stop happens right. This is also what I thought. Or re-entrancy, a slot emits a signal that synchronously causes itself to be called again. I also considered that. From the code you've shared, you're explicitly wiring a stop UI action to this slot. That means that both the timer reaching 0 and stop will drive the same end path. If the user presses stop close to the deadline, it's very easy to call it twice. Separate stop from end. Create a dedicated stop slot, which is what I had before, that stops the timer and updates the state without firing end of Pomodoro behaviors or signals. Keep Pomodoro ended only for natural completion path. It should not be connected to a manual stop action. Guard against duplicate calls. Add a simple state flag is ending and check it. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. This is actually pretty reasonable advice. Prevent accidental duplicate connections. If there's any chance connections could be made more than once, add Qt unique connection. Oh, that's actually fantastic. To your connect calls, so Qt won't add duplicates. Concrete changes. Replace the connection from your stop signal to the end slot with a dedicated stop slot. Add a guard flag. The Pomodoro ended and reset in Pomodoro started. Edits. Connect stop timer. Okay. Timer stopped. Yeah, got it. Is ending. Is a guard that I can use. I don't know if I need to do all this, but maybe. What changed here? Oh, is ending. See, the problem with putting this flag in, I don't also know if there are any threading issues, right? Like, just having a Boolean is not necessarily thread safe. So, like, while it does make sense on paper, oh, look at that. Looks like I have a hood on my head, but the hood's not on my head. It's like floating on my head. Okay, sorry. It makes my head nice and warm, but it does look weird. Now, what do I care what I look like? My head's nice and warm. Okay, so, no, I can't move my head now, though. See, that's the problem. Okay, so anyways, do not trigger end here. This is a user stop. Optionally suggest returning to edit for the preset time. That's how it worked originally when I didn't have a bug. Optional hardening. Add unique connection to your connect calls where you suspect reinitialization might happen. That's kind of what I was thinking. Behavior becomes deterministic and user actions around the 0-0 boundary won't cause duplicates. Is the Boolean safe from threading issues? Great question. Short answer, depends on which thread touches the flag. How Qt threading affects this. Slots run in the receiver's thread with Qt auto connection, the default. Whoa! I was reading. If the sender is on the same thread as the receiver, then it's synchronously in that thread. If the sender is in a different thread, then the call is queued and the slots executes later in the receiver's thread. Queue timer emits its timeout in the thread that owns the timer. the thread with the event loop the timer lives in. Typically, that's the main GUI thread if you create it there and don't move the object. Therefore, Pomodoro logic and thus its signals and slots are synchronous on the same thread, right? Only those access as a plain bool is safe. There's no data race because all accesses happen on the same thread. Well, the same thread. If any thread other than the receiver's thread writes or reads the flag, you can call a slot directly from a worker thread with Qt direct connection, or you expose a flag to other threads. A plain bool is not safe. Best is to keep all interactions in its own thread. Don't mutate its internal state from other threads. Let cross-thread emitters use the default auto connection. If you want extra safety, use an atomic test and set once guarding. Yeah. Atomic bool. If you need to guard more than one boolean, multiple fields, use qmutex or qmutex locker and protect all extra tips. If you must, who the heck? If you must ever call slots across threads synchronously, force queue delivery so execution stays in the receiver's thread. Oh, in other words, invoke it on the right thread. No, queue it is what they're saying. Queue it to make sure to preserve the order. You can assert the correct thread affinity during the development. Okay. In a common single-threaded usage, plain bool is fine. Otherwise, use a standard atomic bool. Okay. The problem is, if I put this in its own function, it's going to be pretty much the same. What does npomodoro do? Updates this UI. Oh, thank you, Larissa, for following. Why is my sound not working? Oh. I actually don't know. No, I have no idea why my sound's not working. I just happened to catch that, but thank you for following. Yeah, what the heck? So what do we do? I mean, I don't, like, I can put a timer stopped and just not emit this npomodoro. But the problem is so much of this code is the same. I want to track this duration, which also doesn't seem right, by the way. And this, they're probably saying this could be const. Yeah. Like, this is fine. How are you? My headphones are not working. Can you reply to me in chat? Oops. I tried to, but a lot of things just happen. Okay, so oh, wait a sec. This might be why. This might be why. That's why. What's up, Mr. Cup Guy? Yo, what up, Martin? Que bola. ¿Qué tal, man? That's probably why. No, I don't have anything set up for timer stop, do I? Timer stop. Timer stop. Timer stop. No, because if timer stop is how my pause timer works, there's definitely nothing wired up to that. if my... Well, break versus work is done, by the way. The next thing I need to work on is fix double pomo end bug. Don't know why this is happening. Totally bien, just woke up. Cool. Is Larissa a bot or something? Yeah, maybe. Says or sounds not on, but yeah, maybe. Very suspicious name, followed me, starts asking me random questions, tells me she can't hear me. Very good chance. But so, I do that too sometimes. Sometimes I pop in, I'm like, hey, I can't, my sound's not on, but I just wanted to say hello, let you know you're awesome, you know? Allocated memory is leaked. Oh, you know why? You want to know why? Because we don't give it a parent. That's a good call. Allocated memory is still leaked. I don't know if I believe that. Central widget because we're not holding a reference of this. Probably that's why. Because I only see one person watching, and that's me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how views are counted exactly. Like, does a bot not count as a viewer somehow? I don't know. Is that true? But sometimes it's very buggy, the viewer count. I would have expected that this would automatically hold a reference to it, but I can fix that, but I'm not going to fix that right now. I'll fix that later. Actually, don't even know why I have this central widget. I might not even need it. This is the main window. I'll check it out. Wait. Okay. Thanks. Star Pomodoro. I have an idea. Quick mode edit is probably where over here. I did a thing where I call this function over here to set up connections, right? Is that how I did this one? I did this one a little bit differently. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Make button. Yeah, I did this thing where I create all these buttons here. This happens in the constructor. Let's see how many times this gets fired. Nope, bots don't count as viewers. Okay, makes sense. So actually that should have already fired once. Edit mode created. Actually, I should be able to filter also. No, am I crazy? Well, whatever. We can just look at the count. This should be good enough. So like if I trash can this. Yeah, it gets fired twice. It even makes the beeping sound twice. Also, this duration doesn't work at all. That's another thing we have to fix. Oh, maybe because it's not setting a start time. No, it does set start time on started. And this is the only place where this gets incremented, I'm pretty sure. Value right only happens in this one place, which is why I was calling this function specifically. I wanted it to happen only in one place. But now this is getting called multiple times somehow. Okay, well, you know, as an experiment, I'm not totally against it as an experiment. Let's go to main view. And when we click stop timer, as an experiment, let's make a timer stopped. We'll add this back in temporarily. That's funny. You don't know how to make that, but that's okay. Just temporarily. Right. And we're going to delegate to that function anyway. But what I'm going to do here is this. What's the goal of your productivity app? It's a timer. It's a work timer. So this is a technique for helping focus when you're doing work. These timers exist. You can just use a regular timer. You know, other people have their own timers too. Oh, that's weird that this popped up over here. Oh, because I accidentally moved the window down. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's trash this. What I want to see is when I click on this button. Timer stopped, right? I think what tends to happen is when I click this is the problem. My click is firing twice. That's what the problem is. Oh, I see now. That's cool. It's a technique where like you work and you're supposed to focus on doing one thing for 25 minutes and you're not supposed to let anything at all interrupt you. So technically I shouldn't be talking to chat or anything like that. But I also, since I'm talking about what I'm doing, I kind of cheat for that. But when I'm really focusing, you know, I'm working by myself. I don't do stuff like that. I do talk to myself though sometimes, often. And then what you would do is you would take a 5-minute break, and 5-minute break is when you can look at your phone, reply to text messages, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, whatever you need to do. And then every 4 iterations, every 4 times, you would take a longer 15-minute break. 15 to 30 minutes is the idea. So my timer, I'm just adding a couple specific features to my timer that aren't the strictly like the original way it works. Okay, so I see what's going on here. And that's why I'm making mine instead of using a different one, because I want mine to work a specific way and I want it to specifically track how long I'm spending on every task. And I also wanted to show what tasks I've completed. So what I'm trying to do is if I strictly follow my routine and use this timer, I'm hoping that at the end of the week I can like generate a report. Okay, this is everything that I did this week. So that I don't have to manually track what I worked on. Using the timer, which I want to use anyways, is going to also help me track what I worked on and what I got done, and how much time I spent doing each thing. The idea is then I can optimize my time for the next week. See what AI says. And let's also take a look at our quick mode view. When a click stop timer signal files multiple times, it's almost always on duplicate connections, multiple emitters wired to the same signal, both a button and a shortcut. Auto repeat, key or button auto repeat can trigger multiple emissions, re-entrancy in the same event loop turn. The slot changes UI state that triggers another emission. Add a queue debug in the slot to log the sender and a timestamp. If multiple lines appear for a single user action, look for duplicates or auto repeat. Search for all connect. Okay. Long term, to prevent duplicate, use unique connection to ensure that it's only added once. I don't think that's a problem, because if I go here, timer stopped, duration, you see the duration is different. So the time is like a difference in 100 milliseconds in the time logs. Debounce in the receiver. Oh, that's genius. With a guard, add a small guard that ignores repeated stop quests until a new Pomodoro starts. Okay, they're saying to manually, stop requested. They're using it as a flag, so it's not really a debounce. It is a debounce, but it's like a manually implemented debounce. For queue abstract, for sure, auto repeat is disabled. For an extra safety, coalesce events if needed. Post a single shot event to execute the loop once per. What? Queue timer single shot, timer stopped, and guard inside the timer stop as shown. Unique connection prevents duplicate wiring. The debounce and Pomodoro logic shields you from bursty or repeated UI emissions. Disabling auto repeat removes repeated shortcuts from key holds. Very professional, to be honest. I've never thought about using this kind of apps or methods. Yeah, well, I am a bit distractible sometimes, but the timer does help. So one thing I have with my timer, you'll hear in 5, 4, 3, 2, that ticking sound that you hear intermittently in the background. That's a feature of my timer, which reminds me, it's just like a sound to put like a little bit of pressure on, to be like, hey, the clock's ticking. Are you on task? So every time I hear that sound, it means, am I still on the right like it's a reminder to myself. It helps keep me focused, which most of the timers do not do. There is one that I've seen this do, which is where I got the idea from. But then I was using that timer. There's only a Mac and a Windows version. My timer is going to be Mac, Windows, and Linux. And my timer is going to track tasks specifically and the amount of time I spent on them. The other one kind of has some other features that I don't really use, and so I don't care about them, and it's getting like, you know, more stuff that I don't care about. So mine, I want it to tailor specifically to the way that I work, and that's why I'm making my own. And I also wanted to do a couple of things for me. Like I'm trying to get it to do more stuff for me for free, like the task tracking and time tracking. It's funny because if I answer with my bot, then it's not my user talking back to the bot. So I'm curious. I don't know that it's really a bot. I'm not really sure, but that's fine. We'll see how many messages it takes till they ask me for money. So unique connection. How do we do that again? What's the namespace? Qt unique connection. Oh, right. It's not a reference to a pointer to a function. It's not a pointer to a function. It's a constant. Let's see what it says about that. The debounce should still probably help it. Quick mode view. Queue timer scheduling latency, measuring with a wall clock, minor logic issue. That's the best part about programming your own app. You can do whatever you want for your own convenience. Yeah, I'm like a very big tool guy. I like tools that help me do very specific things. So wait, set up connections. So that's why this is really useful for me. And if I'm putting a lot of time into this right now, but if I can just get my minimum desired feature set working, then it can just kind of sit there. I don't really need to do anything after that. Oh, I see what I did here. Do I see what I did here? Yes. Yes. There we go. I think what I'm doing here, and maybe this is the problem. Where's my quick view? I'm wiring this button pressed signal into this stop timer signal. Maybe that's the issue. And what is stop timer wired into? That'll be over here. Is into timer stopped. Locking and debouncing is fine, but I wanna understand the root cause of this, because band-aiding it might stop the user behavior. It might stop the behavior that I'm trying to avoid. It might fix the bug. Yeah, I only clicked it twice. It might stop the bug, but even though it might stop the bug, if there could be another issue here, there could be like a memory problem here You know, there could be some other underlying thing that could go out of whack. And I want to understand that I'm fixing the right thing. It can definitely contribute to odd timing and duplicate behavior, but it's unlikely to explain what pressed does and why it can bite you. Pressed immediately fires on mouse key down. Clicked fires on release of the button if the button remains clicked. Oh, wait. Pressed fires immediately on mouse key down. Clicked fires once on the release if the button remains clicked. If you connect press, you may stop the timer slightly earlier. Around boundaries when your queue timer is about right. Well, we know about that. If and any other place is also connected to the release, clicked or shortcut maps the same action. Yeah, we know about that. Queue timer scheduling jitter and Walter. Yeah, we know about that. Small bug in the elapsed time calculation. And also add fixed error. Recommended fixes. Use clicked instead of pressed. It emits exactly once per user click and reduces race potential. Disable auto repeat. Fix elapsed time order in your end handler to avoid negative or offset readings. Oh, if you want more precise elapsed timing, use queue elapsed timer or precise timer. That's interesting. So that's a good call. So probably the issue is I'm using pressed and I shouldn't be using pressed. I should be using clicked. Problem is I'm coming from a mobile background and we, you know, for years of working on mobile apps, in my head, pressed is clicked. But now I'm coming back to desktop here where click and a button press is not the same thing. Ten, 11, perfect. That fixed it. That fixed it using clicked instead of pressed. Okay, so let's look where places that have pressed. Basically everywhere I have pressed, it should be clicked. And then that means my signal names where I had pressed, I should rename those to clicked also for consistency. Which means timer stopped and go back the way it was. The timer ended. I think that's everything we needed to change. No, because this is not implemented. How do I stop this? I think that should be good. We don't need that here anymore either. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent. That is the problem. That is the bug. Solved with 47 seconds on the clock. I love how a simple thing can break all the software. Yeah, it's great. Is it like the most obnoxious field you could possibly go into? But it's so rewarding at the same time. Oh, timer stop. That needs to stay there. That needs to stay there. Because now we're using that same function again. So we need to test that when I go... Sorry. When we start, oh no, that's too short. Is it too short? That'll give me 3 seconds to go. 3, 2, stop. My timer stopped. Cool. So let's go back over here. Look at the changes we made. We don't need to commit that. This we need to commit. This we're going to discard. This we need to commit. Okay. View and completed. Fix double stop button emissions. Prefer Q abstract button clicked over no. Oh, I can. Clicked over Q abstract button pressed. Bing bang bongo. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up real quick where I made these pressed buttons. And I guess I can call them clicked, but it's not really clicked. I can come up with a different name for this now. In my logic file, something that's more neutral. So start break pressed, clicked, activated. But the problem I have with activated is that it's longer. All right, pressed. So we have pressed, we have clicked, same character length, activated. Start break. What's another way to say that? Pressed, received, ask AI. What's a UI agnostic way of saying clicked? I want my logic controller to be loosely coupled from the view. Clicked may have a different meaning from pressed. And I want my event name to reflect that the UI element was activated without being specific to an event type. Activated would be good. Requested. In the view layer, map all input gestures to intentional signals with UI agnostic names. In the controller logic, assume those intent signals via slots. Oh, I could say intent, actually. Intended. Intended, even. Good intent-oriented names requested. These are requested for user-driven commands that may or may not complete. Keep signals semantically meaningful to the domain, not the widget type. Applying this to your code. I guess it's only 2 more characters, activated and requested. Start break requested. I guess requested is decent. I like requested. Because it makes it obvious that's an event. And like they said, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to fulfill that promise. So let's rename these. Oops. Pressed becomes, oh. Pressed becomes requested. I don't know that that helped anything. Because an external file cannot be updated. Okay, whatever. That might be fine. So to test that, we have to hit the complete view. Three, 4. Now we should get a long break. We do. Sick. Cool. So here we're going to skip this one. We're going to add those. We're going to add that change. We're going to add that change. It's going to be logic and main window. And we're going to say cleanup. Use requested. Prefer requested naming convention or actions to be more UI agnostic. Clicking versus pressing. Clicking versus pressing versus tapping, etc. Because we don't know. It's not going to be. I might make a curses, like might make a completely curses UI for this. It's going to be maybe command line, not command line, but command line GUI, right? Curses like interface, and we don't want to. We want to be a little bit more UI agnostic. Requested is great. Very expressive faces. I like to be expressive. Good for communication, in my opinion. Okay, this is great. We got a lot of stuff done here. Start next. Fix double pomo end bug. We fixed that. Make controller. I think the controller's done. What was the next thing I was gonna work on now? Oh, the next thing I was gonna work on was doing this task tracking. How long have I been streaming? Probably 3 hours. What time is it? 12 p.m. I need to eat. I should probably stop now for lunch. Are you around later, Martin? What's your schedule today look like? If I eat lunch, I'll probably be done because I have to cook. I'll probably be done eating in about an hour. Are you gonna be around in an hour? Do you want to play some games? Because I could take a break from this and play for also maybe about an hour. And then we could start working on the task stuff. Got nothing to do today? Today's holiday? Nice. Let me go here. So... task completion. UUI will allow task completion. Intake form. Deleting a task should somehow allow us to complete it. Maybe delete. Maybe delete. Deletes, but backspace completes. Or figure out a different button shortcut key to complete. Because maybe I can just say like, oh, you know. Control D could be complete. Control C could be complete. Maybe Control D or delete. Delete. Control C is complete. That could be cool. Holiday, my bad. Ah, I got what you got. I got what you meant. Not a holy day, but a holiday. There's probably something to that. That's probably where the word comes from. Probably was originally a holy day. That was why we had holidays to begin with. Maybe. I don't know. Very cool. We're getting closer. And then we're going to need a UI for completed tasks and stuff like that. Right. Because I don't have that anywhere. Task name. Oh, yeah. I was going to do this and put buttons on there so you could click on it. But I want keyboard shortcuts too. I'll do the keyboard shortcuts first. This will come later. But we'll eventually do this. This will be with a Q widget view, probably. How do I, what's the button that gets this thing to pop up? Actions. Now, how do I get over here? Assets. Yeah, whatever. This is the Q list view. Probably Q list view version. All right. That's the basic one. And then I need to make a screen for completed tasks. Not task completed, but tasks completed. List all tasks. This is just thought dumping before I hop off. List all tasks that were completed in the current week. Allow checking previous weeks. I'll make you do Sunday to Saturday as a week. It's a cold hard thing. We can make it customizable later. Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. This is awesome. This is great. Oh, I just realized I accidentally committed this. This shouldn't have been in there. We can clean that up. Oh, and we got to fix this bug too. Not tracking the right time. Current date time. All right. So maybe it should be the other way around. Let's just test that real quick. It should probably be start time. It should probably be like that. And then here, that's in milliseconds. That's going to put it in seconds. We really want it to be in minutes. right? But we could track it in seconds, you know? You know, anything that would be less than 1 minute, you know, like we don't really care how many seconds we spend on it. I'm going to put that conversion in here. Right? That's going to go in here. And then I don't have to do that conversion over here. One. Now it should show up as 3 seconds. Oh, well, actually, it should show up as 0. Yeah, duration 0. Okay, I can see why maybe I don't want to do that. So maybe we'll go like this. Because when I'm testing, I don't use minutes. But when we're logging here, or I could maybe do it up here and then, yeah. Maybe that's fair. Four. I don't know why it's 4. But whatever. Should be 3. But it's probably because it's not super exact, but that's fine. If it's off by a couple seconds, I don't care. If it's off by minutes and hours, that's a huge problem. All right.